about to join us on stage. And in the interest of keeping in the pitch feel and like some of the other sessions that we had, I want you to all imagine a world where you can design your own shoes. That world is right now. Thank you to this next woman, Jodi Fox. I'm not sure, here she is, sorry. Jodi Fox, who is going to talk a little bit about life as an entrepreneur and her own journey. So I will put you in her safe and capable hands. The founder of Shoes of Prey. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for having me here tonight. It's actually just an extraordinary feeling to hear pitches when you're at the very beginning of an idea that is yet to be moulded when I'm 5 years in and things change. So what I wanted to do was share a little bit about my journey. I've got 15 minutes for my pitch, which is a bit unfair because you've only had 2 minutes, but I'll see what I can get out. So, as you know, Shoes of Prey is the website where you can design your own women's shoes. We started in October 2009, so we've just celebrated our 5th birthday. We broke even at 2 months, we hit multi-million revenue in under 2 years, and today we're a global multi-million dollar enterprise backed by venture capital out of Australia and the US. You might have seen yesterday that we just announced that we are opening stores with Nordstrom in the US and collaborating with the costume designer from Mad Men, Janie Bryant. So it's been a really exciting journey that's just happened to culminate very closely with this event. Now, you know that we offer the opportunity for women to design shoes, but why? And that was the key thing that I was listening for in your pitches. What's the problem you're solving? So I'd just like to do a little survey with you right now. Ladies in the room, tell me if you've ever said this, and men in the room, just raise your hand if you've ever heard this. But my feet hurt. I don't have any shoes. Yeah. And you know what? It seems frivolous. It seems like, oh, first world problems, what are we doing? But the truth of the matter is that there is genuinely a problem underlying all of this. And the problem is that when women go to buy shoes, they are choosing between comfort and style every time they pick up a pair of shoes. Now, the industry is broken because of the way that manufacturing occurs. So what happens is they look for efficiencies and so produce shoes in the most common sizes, size 35 to about 40 or 41 if you're lucky. If you happen to fall down into the size 5 or up into the size 41, I know that when you walk into a shoe store, you don't walk in and look around and see what's pretty. You walk straight up to an assistant and say, "Do you have my size?" We at Shoes of Prey go from size 31 to 49, including half sizes, width adjustments. Everyone's feet are different. It's pure madness that we're only offering women 7 sizes to choose from in one style, or one heel height, and at 3 colorways every single season. It's totally crazy. But why does that happen? Because it's complicated. It's actually really hard to make shoes. If I'd known how hard it is to make shoes at the beginning of this, I might not be here today. So how it's all happened has been, you know what, we used to go to a cobbler. I need shoes, I'll go talk to this guy and get him to make them for me. All right, then the customer need changed. It was, you know what, I wish I could buy more shoes more quickly. So then we had the Industrial Revolution, and we got to a stage where we are at the moment, which is, I'll just pop down to the store and pick up a pair of shoes off the shelf. The customer need has evolved again though. And the customer need now is, man, I really want to buy shoes that I like the look of and feel good to wear. So we're taking the best bits out of each of those eras. We're taking custom from the cobbler, we're taking mass and quickly from the Industrial Revolution, and we're bringing convenience to that as well. And that's what we're doing at Shoes of Prey to solve that problem. So it's not just a problem that is an insight into that audience, it's also peeling the things away about what else is going wrong. It's manufacturing, it's technology, and we now can go in there and pull those layers back to bring that solution to women. So it's been a really exciting 5 years, as I mentioned at the beginning of the speech. I think we still have a hugely long way to go, because the vision for Shoes of Prey actually is not about shoes. The vision for Shoes of Prey is that we believe that you should have exactly what you want when you want it. It's about on demand. And I think that we're in a really exciting place with technology right now and manufacturing with 3D printing and all of the robotics that we can introduce to that to do more product on demand. So keep your eyes peeled for new products. Let me roll out the stores first though, okay? So even though it's been such a positive journey so far, we still have a lot further to go. And just bearing in mind the beginnings of the journey that you're in, I wanted to share some lessons that I learned early on and some of the things that I learned with how to deal with them. So the first thing was getting our first rejection. And it was not nice. So it actually happened when we were looking for suppliers. And we had gone overseas and we were talking to lots of people and, has everyone seen everyone knows what Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is, right? Okay, so imagine the first time that the person who came up with that idea went and pitched it. Okay, so it's going to be 5 guys, they're all teenagers, but they're turtles, their dad's a rat. The enemy's going to be a brain in a jar, it's going to be amazing. And it is. It's very successful. It's making a lot of cash. So I kind of felt like that. I would walk in to see these suppliers and I would say, okay, this great idea, we're going to make millions of pairs of shoes, one at a time. And they would just put their best poker face on and say, oh, but the minimum order quantity is 5,000. We were lucky in that, it's sort of a strange word to use with this, but the global financial crisis had happened. And so these mass production orders were coming down. So they were willing to entertain the weird Australians with this shoe idea. So that was really fantastic. But at the end of the week of, sort of negotiating all of the terms of how we were going to get these shoes made, we got an email from one of the suppliers. And it went a bit like this. Hi, Mike, Michael, and Jodie. It was so nice to meet you guys this week. I think we've got to a really good place with the agreement. But I felt like we had a connection. We got along really well. So I just wanted to give you a piece of advice. You'll be out of business in 3 months. Yours sincerely, supplier. And you can imagine how confronting that was so early on. And largely as well because, Michael Fox has amazing background in operations. He was actually with Supercheap Auto in their first graduate role when they were the fastest growing retailer in Australia. And he then went on to Google to work in advertising sales. So his operational knowledge is extraordinary. Mike Knapp was a software engineer at Google, and he calls himself the geek of the business. And if you ever meet him and he says that, tell him, oh, did you mean genius? Because he is literally a genius, he's amazing. And I'm very passionate about the product, I am the customer, and I'm also great at building a brand, which seems like a really strong skill set. Can you spot the gap? None of us knew a thing about making shoes. And so we had this person with decades of experience saying to us, you will fail. So the thing that I realized in hindsight, the decision that we were really making was, is this person right? Or is this person letting their expertise get in the way of a good idea? And you disruptors that stood up here and gave your ideas, I really want you to think about that every time that you're talking to somebody. And when you hear no, ask yourself, are they coming from a place where they've built up their expertise as an adult and they're using that to to make decisions quickly? And are they really right? Or are they using it in the wrong way? And keep pushing, because if you're hearing no a bit and you're annoying people, you're probably doing the right thing. The second thing that I just wanted to share with you is just a little bit about failure, because there is no doubt that you will find that. And it's abundant. And it's normal. It's very normal. So one thing that I always think about, someone told me this recently, was the Dr. Seuss books. They are the best-selling children's books in the entire world. He was turned down by 76 publishers before he got his first book up. How crazy is that? And, I think that we read a lot of these biographies and business books, and they sort of point at this, big hockey stick graph, that just says, and I made this great decision, and then I thought about it, and I made this great decision, and then I was a billionaire. And it's just not how it happens. It's more like, this crazy boof, and the highs are amazing, but the lows are excruciating, and it's terrifying. And you will find yourself on your lounge room floor crying, and there's no food in the fridge, and you don't know what happened, and you've got to turn up to a meeting at 6 a.m., and clean yourself up. This happens and it's normal. And I just want you to know that when you hit those moments, that you're not the crazy person, that you are the person who's changing things, and that's what learning and being an entrepreneur is. When you get to those moments, there are a couple of things that I've found over the period of 5 years, and lots of those moments help. So the first one is, just know that if you are going to fail and you're looking down that barrel, fail fast, throw everything at it, fail fast, and get on to the next thing. It's okay. Secondly, have a bit of faith in yourself. You're all smart people in this room. You wouldn't be here if you weren't. You're smart, you're interested, you're passionate. And you're interesting as well. So just know that you know how to add up, you know how to subtract, you know what a P&L looks like, and if you know there is going to be a moment of things going awry, you'll know when to put that full stop down, and you'll know what to do. So just have a little bit of faith in yourself. I said 4 things, by the way. I've just realised there's only 3. Adding, subtracting, I'm really just making a big mess of things. The last thing is just make sure you've got some really good support around you, whether it's your friends, your family, whatever it is, because going through this constant experience of, woo and drop is really tough. And when you're responsible for payroll and other people's livelihoods, it's really terrifying. So you will have to make some really crappy decisions sometimes. And those crappy decisions could come in the form of, I had to let someone go. And that's one of the worst, because you can empathize with how that feels for the other person. And do you know what? If you can go home to a good friend or someone in your family who really, you have that connection with, they're the people who know that you're a good person and that you hated making that decision, but you had to do what was right for the business, and you're going to need that support. There'll also be times, despite your absolute brilliance in intelligence, that you will make a shitty decision, a really bad one. And you'll know that the bad stuff that comes out of it was because of you and your decision. These are the people that you can go home to, and they will say, you know what? You're a really smart person. You were just stupid for 5 minutes today. And that's all right. And you're going to need that, because it's tough and it's lonely, and all of this stuff is normal, but don't underestimate having those people around for you. Now, last but not least, 3 things I think about every morning before my green juice. Firstly, just make a decision and see what happens. If you've noticed a friction point in your business, if you've had an idea, my God, why haven't you written it down? Why haven't you picked up the phone to somebody? Why haven't you put a plan around it? Just do one thing, see what happens, then make the next decision. Your bias to action is what is going to make you a success in your business. Your bias to action is what is going to make your business happen. So my God, please don't overplan. Secondly, no, I'll put it the other way around. Do everything before you're ready. Really, everything. So ex-lawyer to ex-lawyer. It's really hard to do, because we're used to just drilling down into every detail and making sure it's perfect before it goes out. But don't be afraid to take your target audience on that journey with you. Sometimes that's where you'll get your best advocates from. I can't afford to have focus groups. I can't afford to do, we test things, but, we can't afford to do it to the extent we'd like to. But what I can do is say, hey guys, we're working on this. It's kind of a secret, but we'd love to share it. What do you think? And when they give feedback that you action, that's where some of your best advocates are going to come from. Now, last but not least, be passionate about everything that you're doing. At Shoes of Prey, we talk about your work being life-enhancing. It's not about work and life balance, because that tells me that work's crap and that life's great, and I'm doing one for the other. You can't waste a minute in this life. It is precious. Please don't waste it doing something that you hate. And also too, passion is such a defensible strategy when it comes to business. If you are your customer, then you're the person who can observe the friction points that are occurring and identify what the insight is around that and find a solution, and that's innovation. And that's really exciting. So my warmest wishes to you with your businesses. You can find me on Twitter at Jodi Fox, that one. I do know my name. No, on my Instagram account, it's Jodi Fox. Somebody else took my name, and they're not even using the account. What is that? And you can find the business just under Shoes of Prey on all of the accounts. But my warmest wishes to you. You seem like a brilliant bunch, and I hope that I come across you in your entrepreneurial journey.